How can a single state, China, build for the Africa Union that comprises 54 states? Let's get into it.
China is Africa's biggest and strongest ally, and in recent years has pumped millions of dollars into the continent, funding one mega project after another. At the close of the 2018 China-Africa Forum for Cooperation, FOCAC Summit, held in Beijing, the world's second biggest economy announced that it had set up a new $900 billion, $60 billion, kitty meant for Africa's development as part of a raft of new measures to strengthen Sino-Africa ties. The fund, which is broken down into several parts, will be channeled to projects aligned with the Chinese government's Belt and Road Initiative covering telecommunications, construction of roads, bridges, and seaports, energy, and human capacity development. Considering that, here are $10 million projects in Africa which are standing today, and others are in the pipeline thanks to Chinese money.
Number 1, we have
railway projects. At least 5 African countries have had their railway systems funded by China, namely Kenya, Ethiopia, Angola, Djibouti, and Nigeria. Kenya's largest infrastructure project since independence, the Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway, was funded by China at an estimated cost of 57.2 billion South African rand. In Ethiopia, China has funded 2 railway projects, Addis Ababa Light Rail Transit and Ethiopia-Djibouti Railway. Lobito-Luau Railway in Angola and Abuja-Kaduna Railway in Nigeria were also funded by China.
Coming at number 2
is the African Union, AU, headquarters. The African Union Conference Center and Office Complex is a building in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. It is the headquarters of the African Union and plays host to the biannual AU summits. It also serves as a conference center for African and diaspora businesses. The 3 billion South African rand. African Union headquarters located in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, was fully funded and built by China, with the help of Tongji University, China State Construction Engineering, and the China Architecture and Design Research Group.
Number 3.
The ECOWAS headquarters. In March 2018, West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS signed a deal with China to build their headquarters at Abuja at a cost of $31.6 million. The launch of the ECOWAS headquarters in Abuja by the Chinese government has created a distinctive argument among concerned political analysts and economists, following the construction of the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa between 2009 and 2012, which cost $200 million and was funded by the Chinese government. It has led to several argumentative questions among conscious political analysts. How can a single state, China, build for the Africa Union that comprises 54 states? Why is China building for the African Union? Since the inauguration of the African Union building in January 2012, China's influence has grown sporadically, such that a recent research study shows that China owns 35% of total African trade, according to a report in October 2022.
Next at number 4
is Ghana's bauxite exploration. In 2017, Ghana agreed to a $10 billion bauxite exploration deal with the government of China aimed at further exploiting the West African country's vast solid mineral deposits. The agreement with China may culminate in the development of a $10 billion bauxite venture that will include the construction of alumina refineries and railway infrastructure, according to a senior government official. The 2 countries agreed to a memorandum of understanding in which China will provide funding for the project to exploit the West African nation's 960 million metric tons of bauxite deposits. As part of a memorandum signed between the 2 nations, Beijing will finance $2 billion worth of rail, road, and bridge networks, and in exchange, China will be granted access 5% of Ghana's bauxite reserves. The deal has drawn criticism from environmental activists, political opposition, and international government investment partners, with a new report from risk consultancy EXX Africa highlighting a lack of transparency and increasing threat to debt sustainability.
Number 5.
Angola's Kakula-Kubaka hydropower plant. In 2017, Angola signed a deal with China for the construction of the Kakula-Kubaka hydropower project in Dondo, Angola. The project is worth $67.7 billion approximately 4.5 billion, and is set to produce 2,172 megawatts of electricity. The project will take about 7 years to complete. The project, largest of its kind being built in the country, is crucial to the economic construction of Angola in the future. It will solve the power shortage in Angola and play an active role in increasing employment of the country, Angolan Minister of Energy and Water Resources, João Baptista Borges said, adding that the Angola government felt gratitude to the Chinese government and Chinese enterprises for their support to the development of Angola. A similar project is ongoing at the Caleta hydroelectric facility in Guinea, worth R$3.8 billion, with China funding 75% of the project.
Next at number 6
is Congo's Special Economic Zone, SEZ. China will be investing in the Republic of Congo's Special Economic Zone. The zone will be built in Pointe Noire in what China calls a direct investment, and not a loan or gift. China has become the most important contributor to Congo's industrialization and economic diversification. The Pointe Noire SEZ is the outcome of an important consensus reached by the leaders of the two countries, and would make use of the advantages of Congo to explore new paths of mutually beneficial collaboration between China and African countries, the Chinese diplomat said. According to Wang, the Pointe Noire SEZ would draw upon China's experience and turn into momentous embodiment of the enhancement of China-Africa cooperation.
At number 7 we have
Nigeria's Edo State Oil Refinery. Nigeria and China signed a deal to build an oil refinery in Edo State at a cost of R$30.1 billion. The government of Nigeria's Edo State signed a memorandum of understanding with a consortium of Chinese and African companies to build what could become the state's first refinery. Signed in Beijing on January 10th, the MOU covers the construction of a 5,500 BD modular refinery to be built in 2 phases by a consortium of China Petrochemical Corp., Sinopec subsidiary, Sinopec International Petroleum Service Corp., SIPS, Peiyang Chemical Equipment Co., PCC, of China, and Nigeria-based African Infrastructure Partners, the Edo government said.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Number 8.
Zambia's cement factory. China is responsible for a number of projects in Zambia, including the China National Building Material. The project is worth $500 million and was said to be completed in 2 phases. China's growing economic muscle in Africa frequently raises fears of domination. However, on the ground, these companies often create jobs and try to comply with laws aimed at strengthening local stakeholdership. The Sonoma Cement Company is a Chinese company set up in Zambia in 2015. China-Zambia relations date back to 1964, but local political leaders have frequently criticized the Asian giant's influence in the country. With $500 million worth of Chinese investment, Sonoma Cement Company produces cement, pan bricks, and other materials for export and domestic use. Its output includes 60,000 bags, about 300 tons, of cement per day.
Next on our list
is Egypt's new city. Shanghai-listed developer China Fortune Land Development is set to invest up to R$301.1 billion to build an upmarket residential district, an industrial zone, schools, a university, and recreational centers in a new city in Egypt.
Finally, number 10.
Zimbabwe's new parliament. Before President Robert Mugabe was ousted, China presented the former head of state with $1 million gift, a new parliament. The new parliament building, a donation from the Chinese government, was expected to be built in Mount Hampton, about 17 kilometers from the capital, Harare, at an expected cost of R$2.1 billion. A Chinese delegation officially handed over the new parliament building in Harare to Zimbabwean President Emerson Mnangagwa at a ceremony in the country's capital.